I'll go ahead and jump into it, Coach. I've already given you an intro, so we've got some stats on you. You'll have to listen to it to make sure I got everything right, but I'm pretty sure I did. Uh, I'll get into the hard hitting question though to start off with. When you first started coaching, did you see yourself having a career like you've had so far?
No chance. I thought I would. I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest with you. I started as a young coach. I got thrown in as a head coach when I was 28 years old, and just got done playing professionally. And I was teaching some, and I was working as an assistant pro, and kind of doing a lot of odds and end jobs in the professional golf realm. And got into college coaching. I thought I'd do it for a couple years and kind of see what I really wanted to do in life, and I fell in love with it. And I just fell in love with helping young people and developing them, and not only golf but life. And here I am getting ready to start my 23rd year as a head coach. So it's been quite a ride. It's been a fun ride. It's been a great journey, and I look forward to the future as well.
Do you see yourself as being a hands on kind of coach, or do you give your players a general idea of what to practice and then let them do what they need to do from there?
I'd say a little bit of both. I like to look at myself as a player's coach, and as somebody that's going to be there for him probably more off the golf course than I am on the golf course. And I'm very much a culture driver, and I like to spend a lot of my time talking about life and culture, and whether it be the professional golf or public sector or private sector or whatever they're going to do. After college, I like to be involved in that front to try to help them get to whatever their dreams are. But I'd say very much hands on there. Really, I mean, ultimately, I like to coach and I like to be involved, and I just enjoy being around my guys. That's the best part of the job. It's being around the team for me.
Right.
The recruiting stuff is always there, and it's a huge priority with a capital H and a capital P. But the being around my guys and around my team and around my staff, and that's the part that's the most enjoyable on a daily basis.
From everyone we've talked to, I feel like the atmosphere of the team, the chemistry, and everything that falls in line with that is what like we hear the most praise of. And I think like the coaching staff certainly has a lot to do with that. So I can see why. And I think that's a good thing for a lot of teams to look up to, and a big reason why you get the players that you get.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, I've been very blessed, just to, and I've learned a lot. I know a lot more now than I did 22 years ago. I can promise you that. But just how to deal with young people and how to develop young people, and like I said before, like I like to drive culture. I look at myself as a culture driver, and just trying to help them in life, and try to get them to be elite, in the areas that we have a great vision in. And I'm very proud of our team unity or team chemistry or spirit or culture or whatever you want to call it. But I think we've been very blessed to recruit the right guys, and the right guys want to come to Auburn, and it's been a special time for me, and it's been a special group, and I've really enjoyed my last 14 years at Auburn, and just great people and great community, and just been very blessed.
How big was the change for you to come from UCF and a lower? I know it's D1, but it's not the same as the SEC. Was it night and day, or golf is golf, and then it's just a different program?
Yeah, golf is golf, right? I mean, least number of strokes win, and it was different. I loved my time at UCF, though. I mean, some of my best friends, a lot of them still aren't there anymore. I think there's only one or two left, but some of the people really that helped me in my career are from UCF, and even looking back on it now, the Steve Sloan, which was ironically the AD at Alabama, and the AD at UCF that hired me and gave me a chance as a head coach and never coached before, and working for Steve Orsini and Keith Tribble, and all those guys helped mold me, as a coach and as a person to what I am today. And then obviously having the chance to, Jay Jacobs hired me at Auburn and worked for him, and then Alan Green, and now John Cohen. So I've had a chance to see a lot of different styles and leaderships, and I think it's really helped me as a coach and as a person, and somebody as a mentor, and that wants to lead young people. And but Auburn is a little bit different than UCF. Obviously, it's a small college town compared to a big city, and but I'll tell you what, my wife and I could not be more thankful and more grateful to have the opportunity to not only be at Auburn but the SEC, and just be in such a great town, a great community surrounded by great people. And it's a hell of a golf town. I mean, we got 3 private clubs that are within 5 miles of campus, and all 3 of them have a wait list. So it's just been a blessing to be there. I mean, just personally and professionally, to raise our daughters there, and to be able to coach there, it's just been kind of icing on top of the cake.
When you're looking to plan throughout your season for your players, if any of them, like, I know the season's very long. I don't think a lot of people realize that there's like a huge break in between the fall, like the beginning of the season in the fall, and then you have to take a few months off and then get back into the swing of things to finish out the season during the spring. So if your players get in like a slump where there's just something that's nagging them, or they're just not as confident as they should be, do you change your approach if there's anything that you can help them with, or like to get them back on track to play well to finish out their season?
Listen, a lot of the guys have great swing teachers that do a really, really good job laying out plans for them, and helping them when they, just so they can become self-reliable. Ultimately, I think that's self-reliant. Excuse me. Ultimately, that's what you're trying to do as a teacher, and they all have really, really good plans, and understand their blueprints. And for me, I'm always, listen. Nobody's going to love them and care about them, and inspire them, and support them, and encourage them, in the good times and bad times. Because as you mentioned, I mean, golf's a crazy hard game, right? Like, it's got a lot of ebbs and flows, and ups and downs, and but we're going to obviously keep encouraging, support them, and just make sure they stick to their plan. If they stick to their plan, they understand their blueprint, then they're going to be fine in the good times and the bad times. It's got to be great perseverance in this game, because ultimately, like, we get them when they're 18 to 22 years old, and their bodies are changing too. Like, they're in the gym and they're changing, and some guys are getting a little bit taller, and some guys are getting stronger, and some guys are starting to become a little more flexible and mobile, and things change all the time in our game, and it goes back to the guys that have a plan and understand their blueprint are the ones that, in my opinion, are the ones that have the most success in the long term.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Do you spend, like, I think you let us in on some information about, like, this summer you've been doing a lot of recruiting lately and getting to know some future potential players. Do you spend a lot of that time during the summer and planning for next year's season, like trying to get everything in order, or does it usually fall into place on its own?
Me and my staff, we do spend a lot of time recruiting. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, I got to get out to evaluate guys and figure out who might be the right fits, for our program and our university, and then we work, obviously, trying to get everything set for the team, coming up. All the ordering's got to be done, but we have a great director of ops, and Joan Alexander does a fabulous job, and I got a great staff of Chris Williams, and Joan's husband happens to be Buddy Alexander, and he's got great wisdom to share, and but just trying to get all of our practice schedules done, and making sure that all the guys got what they need, and all the apparel all the fun stuff comes in, right? All the apparel and all that good stuff is coming in, and we're just trying to sort through all that, and be organized and structured, and ready to go when the guys get back to campus.
I like there was a video that I saw not too long ago by some of our friends at Sticks Golf. They came down, and I think they've been there twice before. Yeah. I think those time.
Those guys are great, by the way.
Yes.
Those guys are awesome.
Oh yeah,
they're great. They're awesome.
We love their content that they put out, and honestly, the stuff that they did behind the scenes work. You got to see your guys working out, hitting the range after class, basically doing everything behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see, and then taking it day by day to get better and better. And I think that's just something that, like, comes with being in that college town and being able to really just get to know someone on a personal level. I had a question I was thinking about just now. Do you get to play with your players a lot, like outside of just being a coach, or are you always kind of just there for them when they need to coach?
Oh gosh, if I play a lot, they want to kick my butt, and I can't play. I can't play as well as I used to. I've played a lot this year though. I was um, played a lot last year. For me, I like to play. I've had a couple surgeries in shoulder and back and stuff like that, and it kind of limits me a little bit on how fast I can recover and things of that nature. But my assistant is Chris plays. Chris Williams was the #1 amateur in the world for a year and a Walker Cup person. He's still young enough to mix it up with the guys and beat all of them for the most part. So he gets out and plays a little bit more than I do, and then Buddy likes to play with them some too. But me and Buddy play up there on the forward tees a little bit more, so we can get an advantage on them. But I do like to play with them some, but I don't. I like to coach much more than I like to play this stage of my career.
Do you have a favorite club in the bag for when
putter.
you are playing?
My putter, I can out-putt these guys. I'm telling you, my guys, I beat them every time. And I like to tell them about it, too.
What type of putter are you rolling? A Scotty?
I use a Scotty. If I got a fly commercial, whatever, I kind of put that one away and then you put a different one in the bag. I don't want that thing to disappear.
Oh yeah.
Or be missing the head when you land.
That's right. No, but I can. That's one thing I've always been able to do is putt. My short game was always pretty sharp back in my playing days at Wake Forest, and then professionally, and never was a great ball striker, and that's what kind of limited me in getting to where my dreams wanted to be on the tour. But I just like looking back and what I did and how I went about things and what I did wrong and how I should have practiced different or scheduled different. And I think that's something I try to give back to my guys as well.
You mentioned earlier just now your assistant coach Chris. He was a Walker Cup guy. How did y'all connect?
My assistant Corey Maggard ended up taking a job with Titleist, and I was looking for a new assistant, and I knew who he was because Blaine Barber that played for me still lives in Auburn. He was on the same Walker Cup team as Chris was. In 2011, they played at Royal Aberdeen in Scotland, but I knew who Chris was. I knew he played at Washington. I knew he was a phenomenal player, and he was coaching, and he was at Marquette. And so I called Steve Bailey, which is a friend of mine, who's the head coach there, and asked for permission to speak to Chris. And I was just really impressed with him. First 5 minutes, I was like, this is my guy. And then luckily enough, he said yes and came to Auburn. And him and his wife are great, and they love Auburn. And he's just been great. For me, he's been great for me personally and professionally, and he's a great compliment to me. And he is one hell of a player, by the way. He just knows the game. He's good with people. He's good in development. He's a good recruiter. He's just he's an all-around great coach. He's got a great future in the coaching business.
I saw his name pop up during the U.S. Open at LACC. There was some mention.
No, he's caddying, wasn't he?
He was caddying, and he played there back in his days at I think it was at Washington when he. I know that was the same tournament that Max Homa shot the 60 at the LACC.
Oh yeah, the Pac-12.
That's right.
Pac-12 tournament. Yeah, I think Chris finished second or third, and he's still bitter at Max for that.
Yeah,
for Max beating him.
Yeah, I would be too.
Chris has played in a couple opens, and I think he played at Marion, played at Congressional, and played in a dozen tour events. And but no, he's phenomenal. He's funny because my old college teammate at Wake was Chris's agent.
Okay.
So, small world this
Yeah.
game is. So they're both, obviously he's a good friend of both of ours, and just funny how small and connected the golf world is.
I've got a few questions. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
I got one. How great has the facility been for you and like your recruiting efforts and the team? Because it was essentially finished. I know it was started in '08, right before you
Yep.
came, and it was finished in the first year or two.
And I think they may be redoing it. Y'all redoing it
Yeah,
now,
well,
aren't you?
all those are yeses. So we built. So I got the job in July of '09, and then the outdoor portion of the facility was never really finished or ever really, done. So we basically, 2010, we were lucky enough to have some private funds to go out and build our facility, and it turned out great. And then 2014, we were able to redo it and expand it and make it a little bit bigger. And then 2015, we redid the hitting bays and redid the indoor, redid the locker rooms in 2018 or 19. I lose track of time a little bit here. And then redoing the outdoor portion right now as we speak. I need to get home and take some pictures. But there hopefully be some sprigs in the ground here real shortly and some sod. But we're excited. We're excited about where it is right now. It is a great benefit to answer your question about recruiting and player development, which I think is huge. The guys are able to get out there and hit all different shots and different yardages, and it's just a massive 30-acre facility, and comes with that is a lot to take care of. But we got a great superintendent. He's phenomenal. He used to be the head guy at TPC Colorado, and now he's the head guy of our 30 acres, and he's just been an absolute blessing to be there. And but it's going to be really, really cool after this redo. We're going to have 2 greens that are just awesome, and some different bunkering and things of that nature. So we're going to have tons and tons of variety and tons of different grasses and to pitch off of and chip off of. And they're not going to be able to go anywhere in the U.S. and see anything that's going to be a whole lot different than what they see on our facility, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing. I was able to visit earlier this year, right before the regional. I got to hit on the range, not the player range, but I was amazed at just looking over at all the different chipping areas and what all they have to work with. I can imagine that a facility like that produces players of higher caliber just by seeing what's out there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's a great facility. Did you get out on the golf course? We did the golf course last year.
I did. I got to play. Yeah.
We spent a couple $1 million out there, and it's a heck of a test, and it's hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Moore's Mill ate my lunch today.
Yeah, Moore's Mill. If you don't drive it well, you reach in your bag.
Exactly.
Pull out another one.
Yep, I had to do that a couple times.
That's a great club too. I mean, what a great club in town, a great social club, great golf course, and I know the greens are really good out there right now, and some of the guys that are in town for summer school are out there playing some. That's pretty cool.
The time that you've lived in Auburn, I have a few questions about that. Just to end here, what's been your favorite place to eat in Auburn? Or maybe I should rephrase it and ask, where is your favorite place to take your wife to eat?
Oh my goodness!
Gotta be Nifford.
Nifford, sounds like you like burgers.
We live in LaGrange, and we'll come all the way to Auburn just for Niffers.
Just for Nifford, you like the corn nuggets, don't you?
Love them.
Yeah, that's
Corn
it.
nuggets.
Love the corn nuggets.
You know what the problem with the corn nugget is? If you eat one, you're going to eat 30.
And my wife doesn't eat them, so I eat the whole basket.
No wonder you go to Nippers. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not biased to one place, but I do like Hamilton's. Friday night on football weekends at Hamilton's, they start playing the fight song on the hour, every hour. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What a great atmosphere. But, I mean, there's so many good spots now. I mean, we got Amsterdam, you got Acre, you got Zazu and Opelika. I mean, you name it. There's all kinds of the depot right there. I'm a pretty low maintenance guy. I mean, I can go to Five Guys or Mellow Mushroom and hang out, Johnny B's, get a pizza. My problem is I like food. It doesn't matter really what kind it is.
Oh, you'll fit in with us.
Yeah.
Moe's Barbecue, that's a great spot too. I love all the college dives, the Big Blue Bagel. I mean, I love all the college dives. That's what makes Auburn so cool, isn't it? Like, lots of places to hang out and eat and see some friends. And I think it's a very vibrant town. It's grown the right way, and just surrounded by great people. It's a great place to be.
Better than that place up to the northwest, about 2.5 hours, starts with a T.
Oh, Zach, he's throwing shots at you, Zach.
That's okay. I graduated from Alabama, but I don't like Tuscaloosa. We love Birmingham more than Tuscaloosa.
Hey, Auburn's arguably the best city in the state, right?
It's got to be top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Oh man,
it's where we would send our kids to school. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm hoping my daughter goes there. It's a great family atmosphere, no doubt.
there was a nice segment on the Auburn men's golf Instagram this year that I watched a lot of. Paddle Talk. I want to know which of your players would you choose to play as your teammate in a doubles match?
Oh, gosh. Well, first of all, Ryan Eshelman was phenomenal on Paddle Talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He is great. Who would I pick to be my team? First of all, they might not pick me, but I would pick probably I got to go with Evan Vogt.
Okay.
I mean, his dad was like on the junior Olympic team of table tennis.
Oh,
so
gosh.
like, I'm thinking it at least had to carry over a little bit.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of good guys that can flat out play some ping pong. Brendan Valdez is good, and Carson Baca's good, and Max Johnson's good. And we got some guys that can flat out play.
Oh, yeah. We could tell. I enjoyed watching them. I don't know if I have enough hand-eye coordination to do that and talk at the same time.
They start putting this wicked spin on it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna play with no spin. Is that fair? I'm like, oh, this wicked spin when I hit it, it goes nose diving in the net. That's not fair. That's not fair to me.
Exactly.
I was like, put a pool table here and then I'll whip you. So that's going to be the next piece of the puzzle. Forget about the golf facility. We're going to put a pool table in there by the ping pong
There
table.
we go.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Coach, that's all we got for you. Thank you for joining us and giving us a little chat and what it's like to be a head coach of a SEC college team.
Well, I appreciate you guys. War Eagle, man, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
War Eagle, appreciate it. Come on, say it, Zach. Say it, Zach.
I can't. My diploma doesn't let
Come on.
me.
It's in the diploma.
One time. Say War Damn Eagle.
I'll give you a roll tide.